Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. Please provide a brief opening statement, then we'll go straight to questions for you.
Well, obviously, we're very ecstatic about our game last night, our win over Wisconsin. Our guys sort of just willed their way in the second half to get it done. Obviously, Wisconsin was without their main guy, Frank Kaminsky, and Trayvon Jackson got hurt, I think, midway through the second half, so that handicapped them even more. However, our guys just dug in and took care of business. We scored, we've had a problem scoring, and we scored in the second half. Very efficient offensively, and we kept our defense up. So it was an overall performance, especially in the second half for us.
Thanks, Coach. Let's go straight to questions, please.
If you'd like to ask a question during this time, simply press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. Your first question comes from Jerry Carino with the Gannett, New Jersey.
Hey, Jerry. Hello? Jerry?
Jerry, please unmute your line.
Sorry about that. I'm here, Eddie.
Okay. How you doing, man?
Good. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
So you said to ask you in the morning how you felt, and 12 hours later, what kind of feedback have you gotten from people about what they thought of the way the team played and how your emotional post game went? What's been the vibe?
Well, it's been an enormous response to our win, to the presser after. A lot of faithful Rutgers alum, donors, supporters felt the same way about the win, about the significance of the win, about the jubilation that was in the rack. And at the same time, I had to have some quiet time this morning just to filter it out, respond back to I had tons of texts and emails, respond back to maybe half of them, and yet have some quiet time before I came in the office and go to work as usual. And this was pretty hard, thinking today was going to be as usual, but that's what we have to get to. Just another day at the office, get to practice, prepare practice, and get ready for a heck of a team on Wednesday in Maryland.
Thanks, Eddie. See you this afternoon.
Okay. Thanks, Jared.
Your next question comes from Roman Stubbs with the Washington Post.
Hey, Eddie.
Hello. How are you?
Good, good. Hey, just on Maryland, what's your reaction to how Melo has kind of carried that team, through the first 2 months of the season,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And just your experience with him? I know you had some experience with him on AAU circuits and everything like that. Just kind of want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, Melo's, we saw it when he was just a rising junior at O'Connell. He was leading the area in scoring then. Even as a senior, he made big shots. He carried the program, carried that team to big wins. They won pretty much everything the Catholic League in the city and in the East Coast could offer. Obviously, we have one of his teammates, Junior Itu, who shared a lot of those experiences with him. Melo, in our workouts when I was with BC Assault, he was with the 16 and under, and I coached the 17 and under. I got to watch them play on the same circuit, pretty much the same tournaments. And he's just a guy who can put a team on his back and carry him. He's learned to organize a team as a point guard and yet find ways to be a scorer as a two guard. And that's not easy. That is not easy to do. And I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him. I remember our last tournament with DC Assault when I had 17 and unders. He was allowed to join the team as a 16 and under, and I couldn't play him as much because we had guys like Robert Johnson, who was starting at Indiana. We had Nate Britt, who started at North Carolina. We had Chris Jenkins, Roddy Peters. So he was still just a little bit of a young buck, and I couldn't play him as much. And now as I see him now, I said, geez, I hope he doesn't remember that. But he's a heck of a talent. He's a wonderful kid, And again, it's not easy to do what he's doing.
Thanks, Eddie.
Okay.
Your next question comes from the line of Don Marcus with the Baltimore Sun.
Hey, Eddie. Good morning. How are you? Congratulations.
How challenging is it as a coach to get your team back on an even keel going into a game after a game like the one they had against Wisconsin?
Well, I'm going to find out today. We haven't been in this situation before. Last year in the AAC, we pretty much beat teams in the conference that were in the bottom half of the conference. No real, if I can remember, no real significant signature wins. And yet this year, we've had some signature wins. And I think because of that, winning at Clemson, even though we lost to Virginia, we were up at halftime, and I call it Mother Nature just punched us in the gut in that game because we had played like 4 games in 6 days or something like that. And even the Penn State win here. So I think we have a little bit of experience of bouncing back after a win to say, look, this is where we sort of belong, somewhere in between. Beating Wisconsin and winning at Clemson and beating Vanderbilt in the Barclays. Somewhere below that, we should be right there competitive in that sort of regard. So I think it's not going to be a hangover this morning. We'll make sure of it as a coaching staff that we get right to work as usual.
And just to follow up on that, in terms of where the program is, your team is now, you have some tough losses at the beginning of the season. People would say bad losses. What's the difference between the team that beat Wisconsin and the team that lost some of those games early in the year?
Well, I just think you see a lot of that in college basketball. I mean, as we were going through our down periods with losing, but I gave a lot of credit to those other programs, and you see that all over the college basketball landscape. You see a lot of upsets early in the season, non-conference wins and losses and upsets, and we were just right there with everybody else. So, I mean, look, we're no top 25 team, and we're capable of losing to St. Francis of PA and St. Peter's. Everyone has been pretty much not wiped out, but lost to some non-conference games. So I just thought, we weren't so much down on our luck as everybody else. Just we didn't play well. Those teams played pretty well. They made shots. We have a hard time scoring. Our defense has gotten better and better and better. And so I just think that it was just a rite of passage that a young, rebuilding program, you go through those. And you look around, as I said before, you see top 25 teams losing to non-conference opponents that aren't even on the landscape. I should say the landscape, not even considered as a top 25 team. So we were just like everybody else, and yet we've improved as we went along. And again, we've had some signature wins for a rebuilding program. I'm pretty satisfied. Not satisfied. Those losses were disappointing, but I like the way we've come to work every day. Our kids do well in school. So we've got good kids, no problems, and we're building a program.
Thank you.
Coach, thanks for your time this morning. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay.